Alright, I've got an RV park. I want to sub-meter my electricity, so I want to charge my campers for the electricity they use each month, but I don't want to install physical hardware I don't want to install a meter at every plug-in, so I'm looking at this new system which allows me to install this in the breaker box. I install the equipment in the breaker box, I set up the software, and it automates the process. But one of the first things I need is to make sure that my circuits are all labeled and mapped. As you can see here, there's no labeling on any of these circuits. There may have been at one point in time, but no longer. So I need to label these circuits before I can move forward. So how am I going to do that? There's several ways, but we're trying to make that easy. So we're using the Klein Tools Digital Circuit Breaker Finder. It is a two-piece, a receiver and a transmitter. The transmitter plugs into a standard 120 volt house plug, and this is a 50 amp RV plug, so I'm using a converter. So I'm taking a 50 amp male to a 30 amp female, and a 30 amp male to a standard house plug female. So I'll plug those together. Maybe, if I can get them lined up. Okay. I'll plug that in. And I'll plug in my transmitter. Now the instructions on this say I am supposed to turn it on. I hit the button to turn it on, and it'll beep at me. And then I'm going to take it, once I have it turned on, I'm going to take it with the button, this button facing up. I'm going to take it and go down through all the circuits one time. That's the learning loop or learning pass. Then I'm going to come back up and go down through them one at a time, and it will beep at me, and it has a little arrow that will light up. I'm outside and it's kind of sunny, so it may be hard to see, but it should tell me which of these on my second pass, as I'm going through each of them individually, it should tell me which of these is that circuit. So I'm going to come through here. I go through my first pass, then I come through on my second pass, and it's clearly telling me that this second one is my circuit. So number 2 belongs to number 2, which makes sense. Let's see if we can do one more. So I'm going to take this, plug it into number 3. Looks like there were a lot of ants around here. So I'm plugging this all into number 3. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to do my learning pass. I'm going to come back through here. No. That's the one. It's lighting up. It's telling me that's the one. So I'll do that. I'll plug that into each individual one, and then I will do that. Since I have verified that, I've got my marker with me. Of course, if I've got labels or something a little bit more permanent, that would be wise. But I am going to label this as number 3, and we verified this was number 2. So then once I've got these labeled, again, it'd be great to put a permanent label, something that will not fade or weather over time, on here, and make a record somewhere and take a picture, have an electronic record as well as a physical record, so that I know how these are labeled. Because equipment is going to be installed in here. It's going to wrap around these individual wires, and we need to be able to tell the program this wire that we're measuring one wire right here, whose wire is that? In the system I have to be able to program that and tell it whose wire is this. And if I don't know, because these are blank, then I can't proceed. So that is how we're going to use this tool to map our circuits.